Hi everyone. Oh, you ready for a story? Oh, I am. And I have a brand new book. My favorite, Dumbo. See if the turning the light on helps. Maybe a little bit. All right. Dumbo. Oh, I think I missed a page. Whoopsie. It was morning at the circus. Hopeful mothers looked up as storks flew overhead. Each stork carried a tiny bundle that held a baby animal. Mrs. Jumbo sighed as she watched the happy mothers cuddling their babies. Oh dear, I did so hope there would be a bundle for me. A stork flew into Mrs. Jumbo's railway car and dropped a large bundle. Inside was a baby elephant. Jumbo Jr. is what Mrs. Jumbo named him. Look at him, cried the other elephants excitingly. He's darling. Isn't he cute? Just then, Mrs. Jumbo's baby sneezed. Out flapped two enormous ears. The other elephants gasped, and then they began to giggle. Aren't they funny, said one elephant. Dumbo, said another elephant. Mrs. Jumbo didn't care what the other elephants thought. She loved her baby. Big ears and all, she lifted him up in her trunk and gently rocked him to sleep. Oh, she loves her baby. What a good mother Mrs. Jumbo is. That night, the circus train stopped and all the animals climbed out. The circus men put up a huge tent. The next morning, the circus parade made its way through town. The band played, the clowns and animals marched down the street as people clapped and cheered. Crowds hurried to the circus tent that night. They were eager to see all the animals. Look at his ears, cried one noisy boy, pointing at Dumbo. They're the funniest things he'd ever seen. The boys laughed and teased Dumbo. Then one of them pulled the little elephant's ears. But that wasn't very nice, was it? Mrs. Jumbo trumpeted. With anger, she raised a hay bale to throw at the naughty boys. They ran away in terror. Down, down, cried the ringmaster, cracking his whip. Dumbo's mother was taken away and they locked her in a small cage far away from her baby Dumbo. Nearby, a mouse called Timothy was watching. He felt sorry for the little elephant. All we've got to do is build you an act, Timothy told Dumbo. Make you a star. Just then, they heard the ringmaster talking in his tent. Have I got an idea, he was saying. An enormous pyramid of pachyderms. Now, so as soon as the ringmaster was asleep, wait, what did the ringmaster say? That was the end of that? Yeah. So when the ringmaster was asleep, Timothy crept into his tent. He scampered up to the ringmaster's ear and said, Who is your climax? The little elephant with the big ears? Dumbo? Dumbo, mumbled the ringmaster. Dumbo. The next morning, the ringmaster tried out his new idea. He had all the elephants balanced carefully on top of one another, and Dumbo was to be at the very top, the star. But when Dumbo ran to jump to the top of the elephants, oh no! He tripped over his big ears and bumped into the pyramid. The elephants crashed to the ground, and the whole circus tent fell down. Bump, bump, bump. Oh no. Now the elephants were angrier than ever with Dumbo. But the ringmaster had one more idea. Dumbo could become a clown. So Dumbo was dressed like a baby and put at the very top of a burning building. The other clowns playfully pretended to be firefighters. They sprayed Dumbo with water and held a hoop for him to jump into. Poor Dumbo was terrified as he jumped. Down, down he dropped until he fell through the hoop into a big tub of sticky goo. Dumbo landed right in the goo. But Dumbo was not happy at all. "We're going over to see your mother," said Timothy, trying to cheer up Dumbo. Dumbo and his mother were overjoyed to see each other. Mrs. Jumbo put her trunk through the bars of her cage and cuddled her baby boy, singing a lullaby. But all too soon, Dumbo had to go. Sadly, he fell asleep and dreamed and dreamed. The next thing Dumbo and Timothy knew, it was morning. When they opened their eyes, they saw a group of crows looking at them. Dumbo and Timothy were high up in the branch of a tree. How did they get up there? Wondered those friendly birds. The little elephant was so surprised that he lost his balance. Dumbo and Timothy tumbled down into a pond far below. "I wonder how we ever got up that tree," said Timothy, shaking himself dry. "Maybe you flew up there," joked one of the crows. "Yeah, that's it," said Timothy. "Dumbo, you flew." The little elephant looked surprised. He couldn't really fly, could he? But Timothy told Dumbo to believe in himself. He can do it. We just got to believe he can, huh? We gotta cheer him on. One crow gave Timothy an ordinary feather and whispered, "Use this magic feather." Holding the feather in his trunk, Dumbo stood at the edge of a cliff. Before he could change his mind, the crows pushed him. And off he went. All at once, Dumbo was flapping his big ears. He was flying. "Look," said Timothy, "look. You're flying." Oh, Timothy must have been scared too. I'd have been scared at first. Before long, Dumbo was famous all around the world, just as Timothy had said he would be. Crowds flocked to see the circus to see Dumbo, the amazing flying elephant. The ringmaster released Dumbo's mother and gave her a special train car of her own, and Dumbo and his mother were very, very happy. Oh, and there's a picture of him with his magic feather. The end. What a good book. Oh, Grandma does love Dumbo. That is my favorite, one of my favorite Disney movies. I'm glad I got to read it. Thank you for sending me that book. I needed a new book, and I got one. Will you, everybody, have a good night. Grandma loves you.